Okay, so we're going to start off by reviewing slope-intercept form. And so remember that slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b, where m is your slope and b is your y-intercept. And if I tell you to write an equation of a line with a slope of -2, that means that is your m value. And a y-intercept of 0, 8, that is your b value. And so you would be able to write the equation y equals -2x plus 8. Okay, there's a different type of linear equation called standard form. And standard form looks like this: ax plus by equals c, which basically just means that both your x and your y are on the same side of the equal sign. And this form is really not super useful unless you're finding intercepts, which we already know how to use the calculator to do that. So we would usually solve it for y, solve it for slope-intercept form to figure out our slope. So that's the point of doing this. And so for letter A, we're going to solve it just like we would back at the beginning of the year. Okay, so like we did at the beginning of the year, we solved two-step equations by drawing our brick wall, and then we box in what we're solving for. And so I'm solving for y, which means I box in positive 3y, and then I have a positive 2x, and I need to move it to the other side by doing the opposite of what it says. So I'm going to minus 2x on both sides, and I do not line them up because they're not like terms. So now I have 3y equals 7 minus 2x. And then the last step is to divide every term by the coefficient of y, by 3. So I'm going to divide every term by 3. And so then I get y equals, and if you type in your calculator, 7 divided by 3, so I'm going to go to a calculator page, 7 divided by 3, it doesn't change. And if I type in -2 divided by 3, it also doesn't change. So that's my answer. Y equals 7/3 minus 2/3 x. Now the point of solving for y was to find the slope. So remember, slope is always in front of x. So my slope here is -2/3. And I could also say the y-intercept is 0, 7/3. But we're really focused on finding the slope. Letter B, brick wall, box in the y. Opposite of a -2x is a positive 2x. Add 2x to both sides. Then I have 4y equals 12 plus 2x. And the last step is to divide. Again, everything by 4. So y equals, and again I'm just going to go to my calculator. And I'm going to type in 12 divided by 4. And I'll get 3, and then I'm going to type in 2 divided by 4, and I get 1/2. So this is where I'm getting these numbers. So my answer here is 3 plus 1/2 x. My slope is what's in front of x, so that's 1/2, and my y-intercept is 0, 3. Letter C, same process. Brick wall. Box in your variable, and we're solving for y. Opposite of a positive 5x is minus 5x on both sides. Then I have -8y equals 20 minus 5x. And the last step is to divide, and we're dividing by a -8. So y equals, and we're going to go to the calculator. We're going to type in 20 divided by -8. And then we're going to type in -5 divided by -8. And so we can see our answers are negative 5 over 2 and positive 5 over 8. So y equals negative 5 over 2 plus 5 over 8x. So here my slope is 5 over 8, and my y-intercept is 0, negative 5 over 2. Okay, last one. Brick wall, box in the variable. We're still solving for y. Opposite of a negative 35x is to add 35x to both sides. Bring down your negative 7y equals 15 plus 35x. And then we divide every term by negative 7. So y equals, and again we're going to just use our calculator. We have 15 divided by negative 7. And then I have 35 divided by negative 7. So now you see where I'm getting my answers. So here I have negative 15 over 7 minus 5x. My slope is what's in front of x, so it's negative 5. And my y-intercept is 0, negative 15 over 7. Now, I'm going to show you something on the calculator. So if you are struggling to solve these equations, you have the option of using the calculator to solve the equation. And so I'm going to use, this was the same equation that we did up here in letter A, where we got our slope of negative 2/3. How could I use my calculator? Well, we're going to go to a graph page, we're going to graph it, and then we're going to press menu 6, 5, and this is what we're talking about. So I'm going to show you. I'm going to go here, go to a graph page, and we need to delete the equal sign because it doesn't say y equals. So I'm going to type in 2x plus 3y equals 7. And then I can press menu 6 for analyze graph, and then 5, it says dy over dx. There's a calculus thing, but really we're going to say it's the change in y over the change in x to help you remember what that is talking about. So it's number 5. And automatically it pops up, and if you click anywhere on the screen, it will click it there for you. And so my slope is negative 0.6 repeating. Well, I definitely can't write that decimal answer. Okay, so if you click on it, I think you can copy it, Control C, and we'll see if this works. Then we go back to our graph page. If I press Control V, oops, undo, Control V, nope, and then I press menu 2, that is not going to work, so never mind. However, just go type it onto a calculator page. So negative 0.6 repeating, and put a whole bunch of sixes on there, and then push menu 2. We know how to change things to fractions, and you get negative 2/3. Well, that's the same slope that we got up here, negative 2/3. Okay. All right, so do the same thing for the next one. Go to a graph page, delete the equal sign, pick a relation, and type in the next equation. Negative 2x plus 4y equals 12. And then the steps are menu, 6 for analyze, and then 5 for finding your slope. And here we have 0.5. So m is 0.5, but I want to change that. So I'm going to add a calculator page. By the way, make sure you write it down. M is 0.5. And then type it in. Menu to 2 to change it to a fraction, so I get 1/2. And then the last one is 4x minus 5y equals 20. So I'm going to go to a graph page, delete the equal sign, pick a relation. 4x minus 5y equals 20. Menu, 6, 5. And we put it on there, and I get 0.8. So here, m equals 0.8. And then I go to a calculator page, which is number 1, and type in 0.8 and change it to a fraction. Menu to 2. Enter. And my answer is 4/5. So here, this equals 4/5. So we're going to practice finding slope given a standard form equation, and you can either solve it, or if you don't understand how to solve it, you can use your calculator to get the answer.